So our new dragon needs some monstrous sounding roars and shrieks to let you know that they're on approach. I thought I'd show you some of the techniques I used to make those sounds. So for enormous vocalizations, it's kind of fun to make something that acts a bit like a vocal cord and vibrates. This is just a box with these two tubes and a loose string over the top of these sort of metal bits, and I've jammed these metal bits in to control the tension of that string. There's two microphones. One is a piezo mic or a contact mic. These are for picking up the vibrations of a solid object as opposed to sound traveling through the air. And the other one is a just large diaphragm condenser microphone inside the body. This is pointed up at the string, but it's also picking up the reflections of the sound inside the box. Didn't think too hard about the mic choice or placement. This is just what I have on hand at the moment. So it sounds cool when you strum the string on its own. But to make it growl and roar, we want to bow it with a violin bow. So that's its sound with some EQ and compression. I'll show you a compilation of different noises I got from it. But in this clip, I've also added some saturation and distortion, some pitch effects, and a little bit of reverb. So the box is cool, but it doesn't really sound like a creature yet. So the next stage is to introduce some animal recordings. Basically anything that sounds a bit screamy and horrible. High-pitched stuff works well because we're going to pitch it down. The old classic horse neigh. Pitch down. So that's useful because it's slightly more believable as a real vocalization, but they sound rough because you've stretched them out so much. So we're going to try and make something brand new that's a combination of the box and the animals. So this is a plugin called Morph, and what you do is send it two inputs, and the output is a blended shape of the two. So that's the hawk morphed with the box. So I was just messing with the balance of how much one sound affects the other. So I wasn't expecting that plugin to give me the full dragon roar. It was just a stage to harvest and sample some interesting new vocal content that I could layer into the final sound a bit later on. And some of it was really useful. The horses ended up sounding like this. The birds of prey. I think this was a lion. So the final sounds were, of course, lots of layers of these kind of sounds, but also some other sort of textures, sub-layers and explosions and whooshes and things to make it sound powerful. But hopefully, having seen this, you can sort of see the DNA and maybe hear some of where the ingredients of these sounds came from when you listen to them in-game.
Hello, my name is Carl Strandberg and I'm the audio director for the finals, and I've made a bunch of music for the game, often together with my other colleagues Ed, Olof and Christopher. And I thought I would share a little look into how we make music and specifically look at the latest track that we release now with the mid-season LTM called Dragon's Claim. This track started actually before we released season 10. It started with this little riff, and you can see how bad my playing is because it's edited to absolute perfection. Then it was like that for a long time, and I didn't get anywhere with it until we started looking at the mid-season event. We were talking about having a dragon. I was like, yeah, what if we add a little bit of a drop? Let's give the dragon a voice. So I asked my colleague Ed to so read in a few lines, and then he puts a bunch of effects on it, because Ed, he was doing the dragon sounds anyway, and it felt just perfect that he's the one who reads these lines.
Who dares disturb my slumber? Fire will make your doom. Who dares disturb my slumber? Fire will make your doom.
And so, after hearing that, the next chapter unlocked. I was like, okay, now we just have to do like a fat metal riff. So I got my baritone guitar, this guy right here, and I detuned it like even further than it usually is. In the drums, it's a combination of like, this kick is a classic Roland TR-707 bass drum that we use a lot. But then we added a bit more like acoustic metal drums. Together with this very finalsy synth. And of course, like the guitar riff is layered with other synths, like looking at the guitar riff, it's very much inspired by like Doom and Mick Gordon and Gojira, like with these crazy, weird sounds. Classic Gojira, and just overall this djenty, Meshuggah, sort of Mick Gordon-esque djent sound to it. I thought it would be important to call out your inspiration. And then, of course, we have, like, looking at the fantasy stuff, like these, together with this, what's it called? French horns, yeah. There we also snuck in the classic finals theme, to get that really big fantasy feeling. This sort of mini-moog sound. I think this is very reminiscent of 80s fantasy movies, and mixing that with sort of more modern fantasy, I think just is perfect. And it makes it work really well with the metal aspects, and also the finals sounds, like these synth sounds. And it's just a really fun challenge to try and sort of combine all of those things. Or even this, like, very, very 80s metal inspired. And then, like, we added Ed's fantastic dragon roars on top. And then you have to have some sub drops and punchy stuff, like this here, to really add to the scariness of the dragon. And yeah, that's it. Check out Dragon's Claim, listen to the song, play the game, have fun, and I hope you like it.